We will call this meeting to order at 18:30 hours. And the first item on the agenda would be the recognition of the public, which we have the listers here. We have Harry Evans, Herb Meyer here. We have Michelle Frazee here. And we have
Sheila Morris.
Yeah, Jeremiah Son and a whole bunch of people. Get them all on.
Hi, Sheila. Hi, Jack.
Yeah. That'd be approved of minutes from the last meeting.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
New business. This takes care of most of the listeners update.
One second. Just sign in.
Now,
So as we know, well, we may or may not know, we discussed doing a reappraisal within the next year or so. And so we're on the first step in doing that. We're starting to update our maps. And we've had our parcel maps in the town. So we've had Tim Fountain from CIA Cartographics. He's come down, and then Vim Tingle from Main Street GIS, both of which are going to give us a bid by April.
Tim Fountain's the guy that we met.
yes.
Correct. And we've had another person come in since. And we have one bid. We're still waiting on another one. So hopefully at that point we can come back and see, what the select board thinks and go from there.
Do you have a sense of timetable?
From Main Street GIS, the one that we have the bid from, he said that it was going to take approximately 3 to 4 weeks to do our maps.
Okay.
And Tim seemed to think it was going to be more like 2 to 3 months, based on the updates. Then there was the property record cards. We updated all of the in the vault to what we have on file. That was another issue that the town was looking at getting done. So currently everything is in place.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And this year, in steps of getting ready for the reappraisal, we're planning on doing. We're going to send out a mailer to everyone in town saying we're going to take photos of all the properties in town so that we can. We still have a few property record cards that don't have photos. So in preparation for reappraisal, you want to make sure everything is, we go around anyway and look at all the properties, but this year we'll be actually making sure we take a photo of every property in town.
Exterior?
Yeah, just exterior. So, because we're going to be out in the field anyway, so we might as well do that at the same time. We also started to make contact. I guess Townsend had a reappraisal, and their size was similar parcel size, population, and it was about $65,000 to do the whole townwide. That's having an outside company come in and do the reappraisal. So that's another step. We're going to either look at doing it in-house or having someone else come in and do it. But that's where we are with that.
They gave us a high recommendation of the person they used also, but we were going to talk to a few other towns and see who they used. The training classes that I went to the last 2 weeks, the regional advisors stated that it was definitely needed to get the parcel maps first, have that ready before we go ahead and are ready to do a reappraisal. But they said that once that's done, either you can work jointly with outside people or get a proposal. But the other thing that was said is a hard and fast contract, so everybody knows what's expected. So.
What are you leaning to now, outside or in-house? I mean, I don't know, my feeling are outside, so.
I guess they're just going to wait when we talk to other people and see, first off, how much it's going to cost the town and how much we have for a budget. I think there's enough allocated for reappraisal budget, so with that rough estimate of 65, we should be
okay.
fine.
Right.
But,
So
it's
the three of
still,
us have also talked, and we want to be part of working with the outside people. So that's part of what we, in the interview process, we want to make sure that we're going to be able to go out with them, set up a schedule, and we need to have our face there too.
just so that way when the appraisal company leaves, that we're comfortable with the numbers and we know how they came about them, because we're going to be supporting and defending it, or the board or whoever's in place.
Yeah.
You want to just be able to make a smooth transition, I guess. The other thing I want to mention is that there was talk about having someone possibly come in that had familiarity with NIMRIC and helping the listers if that was needed at some point. I know that was discussed. I've been in contact with a former town employee that has some flexibility in that area if we need it. So,
Well, I'm just really grateful you're following up on all these different strands and getting this whole situation
it's all
moving forward.
Sorry, it's
great.
not as organized as it should be. But
Well,
it's just kind of everything.
it's really what we talked about at that last meeting. You're talking about, the parcel mapping, getting all the cards up to date, getting the reappraisal at least in line so you can make an informed decision. That's great.
I think they've come a long way since that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the person I was talking to was Kate Snow. She used to work in the town, and I used to work with her in Brattleboro. But as far as her background with the software,
Oh, that's great.
and she's being willing to actually come and help us do if we had any training issues. So that
That's
was
excellent. Super.
That was a good resource that I thought was. We
Great.
haven't discussed the price or anything, but she
Sure.
was open to the idea.
Because she's
Is she a lister in
retired.
Brattleboro?
She's retired.
Oh, she is.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
was she a lister in Brattleboro?
No, she was in the office though.
Okay.
She did a lot of NIMRIC coding. She's very familiar with NIMRIC, and then she was here in this town, so she's very familiar with this town. So I looked at it as a very,
Works together.
Yeah.
Good.
so.
Thanks.
Good.
Thanks, Dick. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Appreciate you reporting.
Planning Commission. First off, Jackie, this guy, is he interested? The name? John?
Can you read that?
John,
Yeah. He used to have, I know that at the meeting it was mentioned a businessman, and I know his wife, she said, John Hakeloff.
Sure.
Anyway, he started out and formed his own business up in Keene, something optical lenses, and he's starting to, I guess, dismantle the company, but he does some consulting still. So he said he was really interested in getting, since his kids left school, Carol and I keep saying we don't know what's going on, with the town at all, so it's a really great opportunity.
Yeah.
For,
If he's interested, and
He's
you're
interested.
sure, you go ahead and have him start coming to meetings
Yeah.
and let us know in the next meeting, we'll throw him in.
Can I recruit it any other way? Is the word out that we need another member?
I wondered about that. It was in the minutes, but I don't know how much it's been broadcast around that there's an opening in the Planning Commission.
Maybe it would be worthwhile to put it on the front. I don't know John from anybody else, so I'm not saying anything against him, but maybe it would be useful to put it out on the front page for him or other.
Well, here, you're about to meet him. He's walking in the
he
door.
said he might, he did say he might.
As if on cue.
John?
Introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Well, we can solve that right now. If he's-
But we probably should, Sheila raises a good point that we probably should let, if other people may be interested. Hi, John.
Hello, how are you?
Your first job is to spell your last name.
And sign in, so I
Who
know.
wants to know?
For the minutes, we were just talking about.
H-E-I, A-K-I-L-A.
Oh, I got it right here.
Do you mind signing in
No,
and printing clearly? Appreciate that.
Right there.
So, John, the reason I joked, but we were
I
just
can't
talking about
see
the opening.
paper.
We just were talking about the opening on the Planning Commission, and Jackie had mentioned that you might be interested, so.
Awesome.
So I think Sheila's idea is a good one, just to,
We can,
to put it on Front Porch Forum
Yeah,
and
yeah.
any other, and on the town website, just to be sure that, usually we're just like begging people to involve themselves, but I think it's a good idea to put it out there.
and if we don't hear anything next meeting, you'll be the man.
Oh, that's a lot.
If he wants to. I mean, but-
Okay. Yeah.
We just
Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
we just wanted to spend a little time updating you on the process, what we've been doing.
Great.
We we've met with John Bennett. We've had him at our meetings. They've also spent some time with him downtown. Dinah Reed's come to meetings. Been trying to reach out to the Conservation Commission and other groups in town and have them be a part of our rewrite process, hearing their goals, actions, the steps they're taking so we can make sure and write it in. We're meeting twice a month now, and as you can see from the group here, we have very good attendance. And each person's kind of taken on interest areas within the town plan and doing research on those parts, so it's a full working document with everyone contributing to it.
No. Okay, no, I think she's actually describing the process really well. We have 3 copies of.
I'm going to bring these to
Sure,
share.
I'll give you another one, Katie, when I finish. So we have copies not of the town plan, but of excerpts of the town plan. So the first page is just the table of contents, and the next few pages are the drafts of the settlements, residents, housing, infrastructure, and recreation. And I just want to say already that housing is going to be more refined than it is. It's going to be much more revised because it doesn't reflect notes of the meeting that we had last week. So, but it'll give you an idea of how we're organizing this process.
And this is a rough draft. This
Yeah,
is our working
I
draft.
said excerpts of draft, underlined draft. So you'll see that there's lots of questions that need to be answered and places where we want people to fill in and stuff like that. But we tried to do this in terms of what's the vision for each area. What is it that, if we were successful, what would it look like? And then what are the goals, meaning what are the outcomes we want from this process? And then a discussion of the issues at hand, and then the actions to get us to the outcomes. Hopefully the outcomes are measurable, although we are quite aware that this is only guidelines. We have no enforcement possibilities here. So this will just give you an example of how we are rewriting this as opposed to revising it, because we became really aware that we're dealing with 2015 to 2020, which is going to be colossally different in every way in this community, in the world, and in the world from 2010 to 2015. So maybe not within the community, but certainly within the world at large, and so the community needs to be able to figure out how to deal with all of those changes.
And I will say with the new group, been together for quite a while now, everyone that's on the board in the VCRD process overlapping has been pivotal in being able to take things from the town and put them right back into the town plan. And as we went through the different steps and heard what people were saying as far as their major goals and the smaller goals in the first meetings, that's when we started revising the goals. Because when you read the goals, they were the state goals regurgitated in our town plan. So we took them and made them more personal for Guilford, and then changed the order around. And not that parts have been omitted. It's just a complete restructure, and it will have a very thorough table of contents. And I've talked to John about this, and he's seen the outline, he's seen where we've been starting, and think it's great that we're giving it a fresh look, and he will be there for us all the way through. We are trying to finish our final draft by October 15th, and so we will be in touch with John hopefully within May, June, pretty soon, coming up with an initial first draft, and then start our process and bring it to you and all that to to do our review after October 15th when we're finished, because we don't have to be finished until July?
June.
June
The
15th
halfway
of
to
the
submit
following
in
year.
June 2015.
So you would try to finish a final draft by October 15th, and then what happens between October and June?
October is when it'll go to WRC, and we can do a peer review there. There's a lot of different steps where we can get feedback, and then it has to be, I forget the exact steps, I don't have it in front of me right now, but it has to be warned to the town and to you, and has to have a public forum.
I remember
to share
last
it.
when
So
we did this in 2010.
Yeah.
there's like 60 to 90 days that have to be built in, and with us aiming for October, you know, if we're a little behind, it just gives us a little cushion to make sure that we're not scrambling last
You
minute.
have a hearing, and from that hearing, we get the draft, and we can make small changes in your draft. Anything bigger than that, that's the back way up again. So, but yeah, it goes on and on and on, and doing every, yeah.
With us doing such a major reorganization, if you will, rewrite, we really want to leave ourselves time if there's...
John is a good guy to guide you. I tell you.
He is, and he's given us
definitely-
tons of checklists to make sure that we have all the elements that are required in there. So we're using them along the way. And,
I noticed that you have on page 13, you said recreation moved to standalone goal. And I did bring up at town meeting the idea of a recreation commission or whatever. I got a few people voiced interest, but I really didn't have a chance to expand on that. And I was thinking maybe in the Gazette, or to see if there is interest. If there's not, there's not. But to just check out and see. I think it was Lee. I can't remember Lee's last name. Thank you.
I talked to him.
Lee Brunswick and Noreen Shippey's husband. That's not the right thing to say, but you know who I'm talking about. What's his name? Anyway, thank you, Chip. So those two people had voiced interest. Obviously, it'd need to be, again, a more sort of a formal, some kind of structure, but it was really just to throw out the idea at town meeting and see what people thought about it. But we kind of moved right on from there to townwide reappraisal, so there really wasn't a discussion, which was fine. It was just a...
But Ann, that was actually that's pretty popular sentiment in the VCRD.
But that's why I
results.
brought it up,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we try to reflect,
Good.
integrate everything that went on within the VCRD and the reporting and everything into the town plan as well, because that was a lot of community input there.
Great.
and it's another one of the topics that we've been doing some research within ourselves of just the land and the things that are over there. And I know the Grange Task Force is also interested in working on that same. So
Great.
With that, one of the things, we are planning a forum on April 16th, and it will be from 7 to 8:30 at the Grange. It's nothing that's mandated by us, but with everything going on with the Village Center designation and with where we are with the town plan and what we're trying to do, we really just want to have an open forum to share. Transparency and inclusiveness are our two big goals as a planning commission right now.
That's
So
in the evening?
it's in the evening.
It's
and-
our regular April meeting.
Yes.
But it's open
Grange
and
is
it's at the
regular
Grange
April?
instead of here.
Oh, the planning commission's
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we are getting advertising out for that, and so hopefully some of these other ideas, the Recreation Commission and stuff, can come up from people that night just to continue the conversation from BCRD. That's our hope.
That's awesome. That's great.
Jackie, you want to add anything?
Ryan Squires was also one of the ones that was interested in revitalizing the Recreation Commission, and everybody in town. Lee mentioned that there are dues. Everyone's a member of the Recreation, but you're supposed to pay $5. He said that the funding, he's welcome. He said he'd love to come and talk at one of
Well, the
meetings
Recreation Club
about it. Yeah.
is what the dues, the $5 that Peter and
Right.
Judy Nero we used to send them our little $5
Right,
checks, and then
yeah.
that stopped. But that's that Recreation Club looking at the ball field by the fairgrounds.
Mhm. He said there's drainage, that there's a couple different things that need to happen, and there's another gentleman talking about doing gardens around for the food pantry.
I think that was Andy Lockney, I
That's
think,
right,
yes,
that's
because
who
he
it
had come
was.
to a select board meeting about,
Yeah, he mentioned that and said, he had a lot of different
Yeah,
thoughts and
that's great.
ideas, and said that it needs new blood, so that'll be great.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I just want to add one thing too, that we've also asked Katie to vet our ongoing work, because we figure she's a fount of wisdom for what's going on in town.
Well, and also she is a fount of wisdom, but she also understands this process pretty
Yeah.
well. That's great.
Anything else?
That's great. That's exciting.
Yes.
I
Okay.
mean, it's nice. I like that you're bringing fresh eyes to this, as you said, not revising but rewriting. I think that's a really good way to approach it, and to make it your own instead of just something that's a draft of what the state does that you fill in Guilford where they say town X or whatever. It felt to me like the last group in 2010 worked pretty hard, but I don't know.
They did. It's really clear that they did. It's just it's a different world.
Right.
If you really want to look at that one, then this is now get the 2001 and compare it to what you got now.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Anything else? Herb, Harry?
I think it's important that this group, that we're meeting with different groups like the Conservation Commission, and that'll be ongoing, because I believe our next work session, we're going to have somebody there from the Conservation Commission again to come up with what they'd like to see in it.
That's
So
excellent.
I think it's good that we all work together.
Yeah, that's great. Super.
You could give me those drafts back.
Oh,
Because
I wrote on mine.
You may. I just don't want you to it's so drafty. So
It's so drafty.
Draft.
Draft, right.
You need a watermark out there.
Draft.
Yeah.
And don't hold us to it.
Right, yes, got it.
Okay, thank you.
It's a process. Yeah.
I won't put it in the reformer.
You don't have to get me
Or
one,
the
because
comments.
I'm going to end up with one
No,
from this
you
table.
want an electronic one.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Yeah, I know that, Katie.
Thank you. Paper is not my friend.
I had the Commons article put on. There was many emails again about the bad report in the Commons and blah, blah, blah. I called the office Friday, and Randy
Whole hut.
called me this morning and wanted to know what was going on. And I said, well, there was some confusion as the way the articles are written. I guess, I hadn't read the article to today, and I told him that. And I said, there was many emails flying around about it, and I said, common sense would have told me that somebody should have picked up the phone and called you and said, hey, this is wrong, can you put a correction in? And he said, yeah, we would more than likely do that if somebody called us. So I asked him to come to the meeting tonight, or one of the representatives, and he said he'd try, but he wasn't sure. But the bottom line is, my feeling is that the chairman of each committee, like you, Michelle, and the conservation, if there's something wrong, call either the reformer or the Commons instead of sending all these emails back and forth and not accomplishing anything. A good thing that came out of this conversation this morning is that they would like very much to work with the town and have a in-town reporter to use that term,
Sure.
to help with the Gazette.
What they do say very clearly here, and we've talked with Ian about this, is that they use the television feed, but when there's something that's not clear to them, as it seems there wasn't, it would have. I think it might have made sense for them to give a call. But since we saw that there was a mistake in there, I think that's a great idea, Dick. It's just like in this case, because it was about this process, maybe Michelle call or.
I don't mind being the point person, I think.
Yeah, and this because as chair of the planning commission,
Yeah.
if it were something where the conservation commission was misquoted, then they would call, whoever it was.
I said, and the whole thing is misquoted on me. I didn't even mention Vermont Preservation Trust, and I have in quotes building by building and a convoluted thought around it. That's not the point. It's that the Green River thing was so blatant, but the rest was not.
Well, I didn't get that the Green River was that blatant, because I felt like the
It's
board.
a headline.
I know, but I felt like the board supported that there was a village center application going for Guilford Center.
Right.
But in the past, you have talked about Green River.
I mean, that's the only reference that I knew to Green
Yeah.
River was when I said that years ago we had looked at village center designation.
And you mentioned it again that night.
Well, that's what I meant
Yeah.
at that meeting. I
Mhm.
said that years ago we had done that, but the focus of the whole
Yeah.
discussion was
I thought
around
that was the only-
Guilford Center.
It just reads as though it's happening right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not that it's a false statement.
Yeah.
So maybe.
You know, as news, it's.
So I
not
would just
false.
leave it to your discretion if you feel as a planning commission that it would requires a correction. I would just do it. I
He
agree.
said he'd be
You
more
get
glad to
used
do
to
it.
it, because
just-
we get misquoted all the time.
Yeah.
So,
All the time.
so
Yeah.
great.
And like I said, I think the good thing that came out of that was the bit they wanted the reporter to put a Guilford News in the Commons.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Support the Gazette. So that's all there is on that. Well, they didn't show up. I said, if you want to call them, then yeah. Should we skip that for the moment then?
Sure.
Move on down to
Good, I don't-
discussion updates, since we have a fair amount of folks here. Yeah.
Can,
Okay.
What?
I was just going to finish typing that sentence, but I'll
Sure.
go back. I was just simply going to say that I met with Matt Mann from the Wyndham Regional Commission about putting together a stakeholders meeting for the US Route 5 bridge, since there was so many different opinions about it, of trying to get all of the different people together around the table so that we could talk about what the issues are and maybe try and get some resolutions, start working with the state to explore options.
I was working with a state employee yesterday, and I asked him about the bridge down there, and he said, well, bottom line, probably the state pretty much going to do what they want.
Well, they
but,
are.
But they are.
They are. But locally, we could at least get together, some, like the select board, the highway department, emergency management could be represented.
Fire department.
They're coming. The fire department, officers, trustees, rescue, Guilford Cares, Visiting Nurse Association,
What about
Guilford Community
What about
Church.
we heard a lot from the businesses
I
south.
have all
Okay.
of those businesses. Figured we'd invite all of those people and whoever wanted to attend and just
I
kind
mean,
of
you're right.
filter
The sense I
information.
got was the state's going to do what they want, but I also got the sense that they were willing to
To work
try.
with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So.
And I think the big issue with me is it's with the fire department. They have a legitimate issue there.
Safety and health.
Yeah.
Fire department and
yeah,
ambulance.
as far as businesses go, there's only one that's really complained, I think, about not having. But the fire department is going to try, and I think I've talked to the state about it a little bit. They would like a one-lane emergency only access across the brook there somehow. And I don't know just where they could put it. It's not something that there wouldn't be the one-lane traffic with the lights, et cetera, and all that. It would strictly be a one-lane emergency access across the brook.
Well, I guess
And that makes sense, and I don't know if they could do it or not. And
that would be something that maybe would come up.
be
at that kind
something
of
to come
meeting.
up at that meeting, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, just to get everybody's
Yeah.
information and filter it into a presentation to give to the state to see if they'll entertain. Because what we were thinking was that there's safety and health. Obviously, there's
Oh, yeah.
fire
Oh,
trucks
the
and
whole
there's
bit,
ambulances. Those
yeah.
are the primary, and then mail delivery services, that sort of stuff,
Yeah,
and how to put together a plan to communicate. So that was one.
So, what would be the timing? Do you have a sense of when you'd like that meeting to happen? Is it,
May 7th or May 21st are the two dates that we're kicking around.
who's kicking them? The town, the state?
Oh, they were just two dates
but
that
I
Matt
didn't
and I
know-
picked out of thin air.
Oh, okay. So you don't know if that works
'Cause
for
we
the
wanted
state
to-
people or whatever.
Well, no state people will be present.
Oh,
This
okay,
is
got it.
just
Strictly-
local.
strictly
Okay,
local.
sorry,
Just
sorry,
local,
sorry.
just Guilford,
Strictly
really.
local,
Yeah,
May 7th and May 21st.
yeah. If either of those dates,
brainstorming.
we were hoping that Bill Murray, since he was such a kind of vocal person in the meeting, and he's thought he and you obviously both are Wyndham Regional Commissioners, would be good representatives
Yeah,
at
I
the
think-
meeting as well.
I think 17.
I could do either one of them.
when
Not
they
that it
do
matters, but I'm available. I don't know about you, Charlie.
I think 2017 is when they're going to do the bridge. I can't remember,
No,
Matt.
16.
16, I know at the last highway meeting, Matt,
2016.
transportation meeting, Matt told me, but
So I just wanted to tell you that was something that
yeah.
to see if you guys supported that. So I will try and
Do you
work
need a
on
motion
date.
on that, Troy? What do you think about that idea?
You know my feeling about that.
No, I mean about the idea of the stakeholders meeting.
Oh, the stakeholders meeting, I think would be a good idea.
But I don't know if it's related to us or not. It is, I guess, indirectly,
I
but
think we would have to kind of.
Indirectly, it would
coordinate
be
it.
because with the highway being involved and everything like
yeah.
that.
So, I guess what I'm asking is if you want a motion on that or not, just to pursue the
Facilitate
concept
the-
of it.
I would just pursue it and see what we get for
Yeah, I
feedback.
think so.
Instead of doing
So I'll make a motion that we further explore the idea of a local stakeholders meeting to do some brainstorming around the Route 5 bridge construction scheduled for 2016.
second.
All in favor.
Aye.
Actually, it would be a motion.
You know we're running enough money for party, right? Greater village.
And the other thing that I've been working on is the folks from Green River Village Preservation Trust to see if they would entertain the idea of the wing walls. We don't actually own all of the wing walls.
We need the
The
town.
west one
We
we
the
do, don't we, most of that one?
Mm-mm.
No? Oh.
So I was exploring the idea of seeing if they would deed ownership of those walls to us so that we could
Use grant money to pay for that.
we could work on them, yeah, because it's kind of an integral part of that whole bridge area. So they're talking amongst their board members. I've been working with Addison to try and put together some language and wanted to know if that was something that we could move ahead with if they were going to do that.
I think, I mean, if they're open to it, I think I'd certainly be open to it'd make our lives easier.
Like for the
It'd
wall.
make, yeah, I was gonna say, it would make the life easier to get the bridge repaired and everything like
Yeah,
that.
and if there
so.
was another event like Irene, then we could cover all of that under FEMA and not have a portion of that wall that could affect town's property, and that we would be able to.
So we don't need, we're waiting to hear from
Yeah,
them.
I just
Yeah.
wanted you to know that that has been
Yeah.
something
Yeah, I don't-
that we've
yeah.
been working on.
I mistakenly thought the western one was all in the right of way, but,
That's the one all the way on the other side, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Okay, highway. Any questions on what we just been gabbing about? Yeah. Highway, we're hoping to avoid the big storm that's coming. Supposed to go south of us.
When is this storm?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and
Tuesday.
Thursday is going to start being spring-like, maybe.
Maybe.
It is. Harry said it.
Harry said it.
Harry said it.
All right.
The roads have been posted.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, whatever good it'll do. I think when the mud goes, it's going to go quick. But
Well, the boards was out today scraping potholes down as good as they could and putting the road down and everything like that, which is a plus. So,
they have had a couple contacts for the new grader.
Oh,
I think Volvo and Cat. So they will be bringing them down for trial in the spring when it gets to grading time. I believe that's the only purchase I have in mind for this year is the grader.
yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah,
If we want to get money out of our old one.
yeah. And excess weight permits.
I'd like to make the following motion that we allow Barrett Trucking, United Natural Foods Incorporated, Camp Precast Concrete Products, and Bazin Brothers Trucking the excess weight permits as per posted in regulations of the towns.
I just got a couple of these today, so I haven't typed in the usual restrictions, but I'll add those.
and the usual restrictions do say if the roads are posted for mud season,
They
they,
travel it all on
yeah,
dirt roads.
right.
during
So
mud season, and they
it's an
travel it
interesting
all
time
through
of year to
Right.
get all these permit
Yeah.
requests
Yeah.
because, okay.
And I know Danny said that a lot of people have been calling him and asking him how the roads are before they just go tearing across them and stuff like that, so. he
When
said-
you say people like these kinds of people with big trucking.
Yeah, them guys and some loggers have been.
Loggers are the
loggers
main- loggers
are
are
the
main
main
one
ones
right
that's
now.
been contacting him
Good.
and stuff like that, and I guess they've been doing it pretty early in the morning and stuff like that before it even starts getting
I don't
soft, so.
think there's any problem with it until
No,
after
not yet.
maybe Thursday.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll second Troy's
Yeah.
motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Finances before we
Do you
do?
want
Yeah.
to do everything and just do the
Yeah,
example?
Yeah, let's do
do the whole thing, you want to do it. This is- I mean, we have people here, we don't usually have
Okay,
people.
I didn't even think that when I was putting it together.
I'd like to make the following motion for finance, that we pay payroll of $316.14 for $5,248.33. Payroll for $3,914, that's backwards there, that's all right, for $6,753.38. Warrant number 17 for $20,656.66. Warrant 17 DP for $147, with a total of all for $2,805.37.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And for communications, can run them by when we get sheriff's report.
We just got the STARS report for Sheriff's Department, if you want to take a peek at that. And then we got our letter of support from the Wyndham Regional Commission confirming the planning process for the village center designation.
Go for it.
Not only did we get one, we got two. We got one from Susan and one from John.
1 hour of patrol time, no warnings, no fines, no nothing. So, all right.
Oh, thank you, Tori.
And I believe that is it for the main meeting. You wanna
I'd
make-
like to make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss a contract proposal. And I'm in the dark in terms of who needs to be included in that.
Me.
Invite Katie Buckley to join us.
Second.
Say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So,
Yes.
can you be available for signature
Yeah.
in the next couple days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we hire,
Do we have to come out?
we
No
don't,
motion to exit.
we don't,
No, we don't make a
That's right,
motion.
nothing else,
No.
that's right.
that we hire Christina Moore
From Storm Petrol is her company.
from Storm Petrol Company to facilitate our filing of our FEMA claims,
The last 6 large projects.
the last 6 large projects. Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I got this little LEPC verb in the mail the other day. It said, "Dear Select Board, your town might be about to lose 5% or 10% of available funding for disaster." And it goes on to explain why, but there are four
Why?
steps I read. Adopt the most recent agency of transportation, town, road, and bridge standards we have.
Okay.
Adopt or take steps towards adoption of flood hazard bylaw which secures participation in NFIP.
We've done that.
We've done that. We have.
They need revisions.
Adopt a local hazard mitigation plan. I think we're hazy on that.
Nope, Dinah was in the process. It was in draft form, sitting at FEMA, waiting for their approval.
Okay. And adopt a local emergency operations plan, which we do
We
have.
did that.
Yeah.
We do have that.
So we have those 4 things are all set, but those are just the letter that
Yeah.
came, and
Is that for ARAF funding? Is that what that was for?
yeah, it's
Emergency
for it's from David Dizendorf, the chair of the local emergency planning committee in Wyndham region, and it's from State's Emergency Relief and Assistance Fund. Give you that. I've carried it around in my pocket for a month now, so I didn't lose it.
We
It's
had
supposed to be done
all
before
of
you
that
do it.
stuff in place, so we were.
Well, that's
good
not
to
we
go.
did, but I just wanted to
Yep,
throw it out
actually,
just
we
in
already
case.
got paid our 5%.
Yeah, so.
So, thank you very much.
Okay.
I can't tell you.
Motion to adjourn.
Are we really done?
Are we really done?
I think we are.
Didn't feel like it.
Second.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, you brought something in. Oh.
Oh, we're only in April. I'm thinking we're in April already. Never mind.
Do you want, you have meeting issues?
I'm going to be, I don't know if I'm going to be here on the 14th of April.
Okay,
I'm on vacation that week. I
Okay.
don't know if I'm going anywhere.
okay.
But then we have to look at May.
May we have, I was wondering about Memorial Day. Why are we looking at it?
Oh, but you know what? Wait a second. We have a new schedule for holidays that's in the town report that you guys had decided on way back.
That we
It
do
was?
Wednesdays.
Yes.
We
See,
do
did you-
Wednesday.
did you hear-
I'm
did you
gonna
hear
read
that
it, so
remembering?
we don't have to warn it because it's
Wow. Did you
Ready?
remember that?
I must have.
You.
here. Unless it falls on a holiday, then the meeting will be on the Wednesday immediately following at 6:30 p.m. Neil did not like me putting it in here, but I can do that.
Memorial Day, I will put this out as long as we have Memorial Day. Our last service for the day is the 7th or 8th one we do as a Legion Color Guard. That's at the cemetery in Algiers, and we had very few folks come down and
Okay,
listen, so.
tell me
Usually about
again.
5 o'clock.
Okay, so,
Yeah, it's right down there in Algiers.
first I'm writing on the 28th Select Board meeting, May 28th, right? because that, we don't have to warn it because that's the regular deal now.
Right.
And then on May 26th, Memorial Day, at 5 p.m.,
Yep, they'll use.
Algiers Memorial Day ceremony. Great. Yeah, good. At the church? Nice. At 5 o'clock?
At the cemetery,
Yeah.
And then Monday, this coming Monday, I'll be in Montpelier. Actually, Sheila and Michelle, I think, will be there too. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to go on a little vacation. So,
All right, I will re-entertain that motion to adjourn.
All in favor? No?
I made the motion.
He did, I'm re-seconding
You're
it.
re-seconding
We
it.
seconded it, okay.
That's easy. Nice.
Good night, folks.
Way longer.